Good morning, Attorney Season. Good morning, classmate. I Cadet Second Class Quinto, and today I'll be discussing the rules to be followed in the formulation of test question, and it has a 10 of the following, which are: questions must be simple and direct. They must not involve legal terminology such as rape, murder, and etc. They must be answerable by yes or no, must be short as possible, their meaning must be clear and unmistakable, phrased in a language that the subject can easily understand. They must not be in the form of accusation. Question must never contain an inference which presupposes knowledge on the part of the subject. So, letter A, questions must be simple and direct. So, as you can see, na ako'y teacher na nakabutang siya, like, diri siya, example siya as a direct o simple nga question, like, example, are you a pirate? So, nitubag ang pirate, yes or no question. So, kadua, what do you steal? Is that a parrot or a chicken? So, simply ra siya and direct. So, it means, kanang imong gipangutana kay, since, simply o diretso ang imong pagpangutana. So, simply o mora pod kasayo ng iyang itubag sa imo. Letter B, they must not involve legal terminology such as rape, murder, or etc. Letter C, they must be answerable by yes or no. Question that makes respondents answer with a simple yes or no are called dichotomous questions. So, letter D must be short as possible. So, sometimes we need to make it short and possible to give opportunities for like students or anyone asked to show higher levels skills, knowledge, and also it allows students to elaborate responses or kung kinsa imong gipangutana in a limited way, so provides an opportunity to assess to the persons writing ability that can be less time consuming to prepare than other item types. So, letter E, their meaning must be clear and unmistakable phrase in a language that the subject can easily understand. So, it is just like a semantics, like it's the study of the meaning of words, phrases, sentence, and text. This can be broken down into subcategories such as formal, conceptual semantics, and today's focus of lexical semantics, word and phrase of meaning. So, or in overall, rules to be followed in the formulation of test question. There should be enough facts in the question to avoid outside issues, and also should be no more facts in the question than necessary, and also facts in the question should not only be correct but would be recognized as correct by the perpetrator. The question must not imply or assume guilt. So by the F going to J will be my group, Harley Reyes, continuing the report, sir. Thank you.
Good day everyone, this is my report. The rules to be followed in the formulation of question. F. They must not be in the form of accusation. For example, like claim by a witness or someone. G. Question must never contain an inference which possesses knowledge on the part of the subject. H. All question must refer to one offense only. I. All questions must refer to only one element of an offense. G. They must not contain interferences to one's religion, as by belief. That's all.
Attorney, my topic is all about types of test questions and how are constructed. The polygraph test consists of asking the subject person through a list of prepared questions in a planned sequence comprising of not more than 12. At least 3 test charts are taken, each lasting not more than 4 minutes with a rest interval of 5 to 10 minutes between charts. So there are 2 general types of questions. One is general question test. 2. Peak of tension test. General question test is the most commonly applied. Peak of tension test, which is usually used as supplementary test. So there are also 5 set of tests. Test 1. General question test. Test 2. Number test psychological test. Test 3. Spot responder. Test 4. Mixed question. Test 5. Silence answer test. Test 1. General question test is the purpose is to get the standard tracing of the subject and establish a truth-telling pattern for the initial part of the record. Test 2. The purpose is to check the possible deliberate distortion when the chosen number is asked to obtain a chart wherein the subject is under stress. 3. Spot responder. Spot responder is the purpose to determine the responsiveness of the subject. Crucial questions on spot responses. Test for mixed questions. The purpose is to compare the degree of reaction between control and relevant questions. For the last set of tests is silence answer test. Silent answer test, it is confirmatory test. So let's proceed. How does general question test formulated? So in my own understanding, general question test formulated, which developed in the field of polygraphy, and this technique brackets and compares the relevant questions with modified or disguised control questions about lying during examination. So relevant or primary relevant questions which has intense relationship to the crime or problem being considered. There have 2 types of relevant questions. First is strong relevant or primary relevant questions, and secondary of weak relevant. So example of secondary or weak relevant are questions that concern with elements of crime and deals mostly on guilty knowledge and partial involvement. Example of secondary relevant is sacrifice relevant or DY80 questions. Reaction to these questions give the examiner a clue as to subjects' attitudes of willingness or voluntariness to submit to the test. Example of sacrifice relevant. Sacrifice relevant example. Do you know where any of that money is now? Knowledge questions. This type of questions is propounded to the subject to detect information about a crime that only guilty subject would have. Example of knowledge questions. When I ask you about, are you going to tell me the truth? So let's proceed to the control questions. There have two kinds of control questions. One is primary control questions and secondary control questions. Primary control question is recalls of offense done from the time of childhood up to 3-5 years before the occurrence of the present offense being investigated. Example of primary control questions. Before the age of 25, did you ever steal anything from a place you work? Secondary control questions. More specific in a nature, it is based upon another sort of wrongdoing which will enhance the subject's opportunity for responsiveness. The irrelevant questions. Types of questions which have no importance to the case under investigation. These are questions which are believed to have no every little other impact on the subject. Then what are questions that may be asked in the polygraph technique? So that may be asked in the polygraph technique. Questions that are used for polygraph testing have been labeled relevant question, control question, irrelevant question, and concealed information or guilty knowledge question. Every little other impact on the subject. Then what are questions that may be asked in the polygraph technique? So that may be asked in the polygraph technique. Questions that are used for polygraph testing have been labeled relevant question, control question, irrelevant question, and concealed information or guilty knowledge question. Then there are two polygraph technique: check questions and fishing expedition test questions. Check questions is last questions asked is the lie test. 2. Fishing expedition test question is used to vagrants or loiters for routine interrogation. So the last part of my topic is what are supplementary questions, how they are constructed. Aside from the standard tests described earlier, the following specialty tests may be performed and incorporated as part of procedure or may be used as a supplementary test, depending upon the result of the standard test in order to draw a better conclusion. That's all. Thank you.